Let's start with some very important, actually good news today, at least sort of, if the problem gets fixed. A judge has ruled that Ron DeSantis's new redistricting map in the state of Florida is completely unconstitutional, not okay. The lines are going to have to be redrawn. And this is very good news because what was done in Florida was such a brazen attempt to gerrymander to the benefit of Republicans. And everybody tries to do it. Whenever they get the opportunity, they try to do it. There's no doubt. But this was so obvious and so brazen that if this wasn't stopped by a judge, then all bets are off. So we have a very good report from Axios. Florida judge says DeSantis redistricting map unconstitutional. A Florida judge on Wednesday struck down a portion of a redistricting map drawn by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his staff. A Leon County Circuit Judge Lane Smith said, I am finding that the enacted map is unconstitutional under the Fair District Amendment because it diminishes African Americans' ability to elect the representatives of their choice. A formal order is expected today or tomorrow to ensure the maps aren't used in November. This is a key part, which is not only was this map found to be unconstitutional, it can't be allowed to be used in November while a new map is figured out. That's an absolutely critical element to this. DeSantis's plan dismantles the North Florida seat now held by a black Democrat. The new maps DeSantis called race neutral make it harder for North Florida voters to elect a black member of Congress in the 5th Congressional District, where nearly half its residents are black. So the technique that's used here is if you have, for example, in this case, a district where you have a black Democrat and nearly half the residents are black, and you say, well, this is a seat that, as currently drawn, is likely to be won again by this elected official. What you do is you split that district up and you put some of the black folks in one Republican district and some of the black folks in another, so that in neither district do they have a critical mass. And in this way, you can take one or two seats. And in fact, when we look at the map, the whole point of the map as drawn is to create a whole bunch of easy Republican districts while making it very difficult for Democrats to win. And of course, if you're looking at this map, you will see that in southeastern Florida, the Miami, et cetera area, you have a number of blue districts. But these are maps that make it very difficult for Democrats to win anywhere else. And part of the way that this is done is by using general demographic trends. Black folks tend to vote more for Democrats than Republicans in Florida, and you can use that to your advantage. A Democratic-aligned redistricting group joined voting rights and civil rights organizations to file suit against this map the same day it was signed into law late last month. And fortunately, because this doesn't always happen, it was adjudicated or evaluated relatively quickly by the judge. So listen, nobody's surprised, right? I mean, this is not only the expected outcome of Ron DeSantis deciding he was going to redistrict and draw the maps himself. This is a feature, not a bug, of what they do here. And the most important things here are, number one, that the judge ruled on this quickly. But number two, that the judge is expected today or tomorrow, maybe by the time you see this clip, it will already have been done, not allow these maps to be used in November. And one of the other aspects of this is there is a sort of, I don't want to necessarily call it virtue signaling, but it's a sort of virtue signaling where many things that Ron DeSantis has done have not been designed to stand up to legal scrutiny. In fact, they were probably done knowing they wouldn't stand up to legal scrutiny. The point here is to attempt a whole bunch of stuff to then be able to use it either in his reelection campaign, which is getting going now. DeSantis is up for reelection in November as governor of Florida, or it's theorized, and the polling suggests that he may have a shot. It's theorized that Ron DeSantis may try to run for president, starting with Republican nominee in 2024. And so, opening Florida early to large sporting events when everything else was shut down, as we were trying to figure out in 2020, what is COVID? How does it work? How contagious is it? All of these things. He can use that. The Don't Say Gay bill, the event to commemorate the victims of communism, I think it was called, which we talked about earlier this week. Obviously unconstitutional, congressional maps. A lot of this stuff isn't designed to stand up to legal scrutiny because it's not going to, but it is designed to allow Ron DeSantis to take credit for it at some point later. And I would be shocked if he didn't do it, either for his gubernatorial reelection campaign or if he does decide to run for president in 2024. Now, just as an update, we've been very, very closely following what are the betting odds when it comes to the 2024 Republican nominee. And I actually am trying to find it. I don't have it in front of me. Where was this? Here it is. Ron DeSantis continues to close in on Donald Trump. And if we look now at last check, Ron DeSantis was roughly at 31 cents. Now it's 32 cents. So the whole point here is you now have to wager 32 cents to win $1 on Ron DeSantis being the nominee, meaning that the higher that number goes, the more likely it is that DeSantis will be the nominee. This is the closest it has been between Trump and DeSantis for as long as we've been tracking these numbers. And at one point, DeSantis was down at like 11 or 12 and now up to 32. He has almost caught up to Donald Trump in terms of the betting odds. We could also look at actual polling. It's just not super accurate this far out necessarily. And sometimes looking at betting odds gives you a little more information. So that's the latest with DeSantis, and we're going to continue to follow it. It is a brand new year. Maybe you have goals around getting in better shape, maybe cutting back on sugar. That's why you should check out our longtime sponsor, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon tastes exactly like the delicious sweet breakfast cereals you loved as a kid, but Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net carbs. So it's perfect if you're doing low carb or keto, or if, like me, you just try to limit your sugar intake. You can build your own variety pack with flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cinnamon, cookies and cream, waffle, maple, blueberry. That's my favorite. Magic Spoon lets you enjoy a sweet, delicious snack without the guilt. You can stick to your goals and still treat yourself. And if you don't love Magic Spoon as much as I do, they'll give you all of your money back, no questions asked. Magic Spoon is giving my audience $5 off when you go to magicspoon.com/Pacman and use the promo code Pacman.